Sharks fans! My name is Jacob Boyd, and I'm here to present to you guys today the 2024 NHL Draft Recap for the San Jose Sharks. I wanted to kind of go over, from top to bottom, the San Jose Sharks draft picks 1 through 7, and kind of give you my takes and, what I think that how the Sharks did, and also give you a little bit about where I thought the draft went and who might have fallen a little bit, and so I just kind of want to give you guys my takes on all things 2024 draft coverage with mainly the San Jose Sharks takes. But go ahead and take a look at the intro. All right, Sharks fans, I wanted to kind of start off with, the number 1 overall pick with Macklin Celebrini. I think Macklin Celebrini is one of those, I wouldn't say generational talents, but I would say very, very close to generational. I think he can be one of the best picks in this draft, if not the best. He is kind of the consensus number 1 overall player, as everybody noted in this year's mock drafts, and players and scouts alike are saying this guy is number 1. He is out of Boston University of the NCAA. He is 6 foot, 196 pounds. Caveat, he probably is 5'11 3/4, like the scouting combine showed, but we're gonna, as Sharks fans, give him that 6 foot nod because that's what he wants. But he's an elite NHL player. He has above average to great qualities in everything he does on the hockey rink. He was named the best college hockey player, winning the Hobey Baker last season for Boston University. And he basically screamed 200-foot player. He is offense and defense. He has it all. He checks every box that you want in a NHL player. He doesn't just have skating ability, shot ability, compete level. He is impressive in all those areas. He has all the intangibles that you want. And then he's also great off the ice. He probably is going to be a captain of the San Jose Sharks at one point in his career. I would say that Logan Couture will probably be captain next season, but not too far behind him is going to be Macklin Celebrini, and he's very, very skilled in the offensive zone. Celebrini makes plays look the difficult plays look easy. He's very good in tight areas. And he has a bullet of a shot. And he projects to run, a first power play unit at the next level. He is most likely going to be a top line center for the San Jose Sharks when he decides to come out to San Jose. Whether that's this year or next year, we don't know what Celebrini is going to do. He's going to have to talk to his camp in terms of his parents, Mike Greer, his coach, Jay Pandolfo at Boston University, and see, what is the next best way to give him the best shot at being the best NHL player. Is that going back to college this next year, or is that coming out and being, a Shark and playing, 20 plus minutes a night? But anyway, Sharks fans, this is everything that we have been waiting for. I think that this is, the consensus number one. This is the best pick in Sharks, I want to say, history. We're hoping. Obviously, Patrick Marleau was a great number 2 overall pick, and if Macklin Celebrini even comes close to what his career came out to be, hopefully we have Cup next to Celebrini's name. On his player card, in the future. But slam dunk player. Obviously, his idol is Sidney Crosby. That is his also player comparison because of that 200-foot game. So, Mike Grier, you knocked this one out of the park. It was a can't miss pick, obviously, but I think that this is going to be Celebrini is going to be a Shark probably for life, and it also is fitting that he is a Bay Area native, and he was a junior Sharks player, where in this community, as a San Jose resident myself, I think that it does wonders for the younger hockey fans and younger players that play in the Junior Sharks organization. It's an amazing time to be, in San Jose, and knowing as a young kid they can develop into a Macklin Celebrini type, hopefully, in their careers. So just a whole lot of positive vibes, and I just can't wait for Celebrini to, be in our community, be on our team, and lead the San Jose Sharks in the future. So great pick, Mike Grier, number 1. That NHL draft party in San Jose at the Tank was amazing. I was there. Sharky was banging or holding up the number 71 jersey that he's likely to wear in the NHL when he arrives. So what an amazing time that was, and I can't wait for him to become a San Jose Shark. Next, we have Sam Dickinson. Excuse me. Sam Dickinson was the second first-round pick that we had. We traded number 14 overall to get up to number 11. We traded the 14th overall pick and the number 42 overall pick that came up in the Timo Meier trade. So those went over to the New Jersey not to the New Jersey Devils. I'm blanking on who we traded with now. My goodness. Either way, he's a left shot defenseman with the London Knights of the OHL. He actually played with Casper Halton this past year on the Memorial Cup losing team, the London Knights, but they had one of the best seasons I've ever watched. The London Knights were just such a good team. Many NHL players, but playing with Casper Halton, and Sam Dickinson said that Casper Halton had the best shot he's ever seen in his life. So that's another prospect that we drafted last year in the second round. Well, we got his D man, Sam Dickinson, here at number 11. He's a 6'3", 203-pound left shot defenseman who compares to like a Noah Hannafin type player. So as you may know, Noah Hannafin got traded to the Golden Knights last year. And just a great player offensively and defensively. Dickinson really has, all the tools in the toolbox. Here's a player card who, his hockey IQ, skating, shot, puck moving, compete level, all off the charts. And just a very, very valuable player the Sharks have drafted. So now at number 1, we get a top end first line forward. The next pick, Mike Greer, goes at number 11, gets the defenseman, top pairing defenseman at the next level when he comes over. Might be, a year to probably 2 years away from the NHL. But when he does break in, he's going to be a very, very good asset for the Sharks decor. He has explosive strides. He closes gaps very well. He creates chances on the rush. He steps up in the play. He has the speed to get back after he steps up, and if the shot gets blocked, he can get back. So all very exciting tools that this guy represents or has. And he's going to be on the power play one day for the San Jose Sharks, and he's going to be an impact player at that. Sharks fans, you're going to be excited for this player because he's a two-way defenseman, and not only with Macklin Celebrini being a 200-foot player, Sam Dickinson's a 200-foot player. So, we traded up from 14 to 11 for a reason, and we were able to get one of those top 4, top 5 defensemen in this draft, and we got him with Sam Dickinson with the London Knights. So look for him to be an NHL player, a top line NHL defenseman at that. All right. So next we drafted in the second round with the first overall of the second round, pick number 33. We got Igor Chernyshov. He is a left winger out of Dynamo Moskva of the KHL. He is a 6'2", 196-pound winger out of the MHL/KHL because he played both. But I'm going to go ahead and pull up his projections here. He's a 63% NHLer. He's going to be in the NHL at some point, I believe. And I think that he has very, very good attributes. He was very good with the MHL in Russia last year. He had more than a point per game for his MHL team. He then moved over midway through the season and played in the KHL and also played in the playoffs. He only had 4 points in the KHL, but Chernyshov, just like many other young kids that go from the MHL to KHL in the middle of the season, played bottom line minutes, and that's exactly what happened. So that's why you see him not getting the point production in the KHL. So a lot of Sharks fans don't be alarmed with his stats when he moved over to the KHL, and you only see like 4 points, and then he had no points in the playoffs, but it's only because he played bottom, I want to say 4 minutes a night. But what you're going to get with this guy is that he's big, he's powerful, he skates well, and he has a lot of offensive creativity. He also beats defenders, routinely with his one-on-one play. And he sees the ice well. He's not going to run over, he's not going to run players over with his physical play, but he uses his body very well in the offensive zone, which creates turnovers and things of that nature. But he also has a very unique ability to control the play. So he stops up in high areas very well and finds teammates, but he also creates for himself that way. And basically what I'm saying is he finds that open ice when he has the puck on his stick. So it's a unique skill that not a lot of people have. But in my projection, this guy can be a top 6 forward, a winger, when all said and done. And you can't ask for much more from a top second round pick. So very, very, I mean, he was number 19 in the overall NHL projection rankings in terms of prospects this year. So he was middle first round, but he drops to number 33 with your San Jose Sharks. So great pick. Next, the San Jose Sharks in the third round picked Leo Saline Wallenius. Let me go ahead and bring up his player card for everybody to see. Wallenius is a really interesting pick. I thought that Wallenius, he's not the prototypical Mike Greer pick, honestly, because he's been picking 6'3" defensemen this whole time. He picks a 6-foot defenseman out of the Swedish leagues and he played on the Lakers HC J20s, and he's a left shot defenseman, just like Sam Dickinson, but he's 6 foot, 183 pounds. So on the smaller side, not the 5'10", 5'8" Luca Cagnoni style, but he's a little bit bigger than him. But he's looking to be my middle pairing defenseman to third line defenseman when all said and done, if all development goes right. But I would say that he's a two-way player who led the Swedish under 18 team this season, and he's one of the best skaters in this draft. And, he has a powerful, very powerful stride, and it's like, effortless, I would say. And he evades pressure like with the best of them, and he skates pucks up the ice very, very fluidly. He chooses on checks well and is great coming back on pucks. So in that way, he should translate to pro hockey, no problem. But where he lacks is, his physicality, I think, needs a little bit of work. And you hope that in the defensive end, he gets better. Because I think as he transitions out of his own zone, he's very well, just because of his skating ability. He, gets on offensive players very well because he can close gaps quickly because of his skating ability. But sometimes he needs to be more physical at the point of attack. And that's what's going to be, his development at the next level. But a lot of people, saw him right around this area. And good for Mike Greer. I think this was a solid pick. I just think that it is a project pick. And you hope that he develops with the Lakers the next couple of years, because that's what he said in his post-draft conference, was that he's going to be with the Lakers the next 2 years in Sweden. So, this is a 4 to 6 year project. He's not going to be with the San Jose Sharks anytime soon. And don't expect him to decide his ELC for at least 3 to 4 years. And we'll see where he comes in, with maybe the Barracuda in 3 to 4 years' time. Next, we have pick number 82. So let me go ahead and bring up Carson Wetsch. All right, Carson Wetsch. He played on the right wing for the Calgary Hitmen of the WHL. He's a 6'2", 201-pound right winger. I think this is probably one of my favorite picks of the middle rounds, and he does everything that you want in a middle to bottom, or probably a bottom 6 role, so a third to fourth line player. He didn't put up much numbers in the WHL. In the WHL, you expect a lot of high scoring numbers, but he put up 25 goals and 25 assists for the Calgary Hitmen this last year. But some people are scoring 40 goals and 40 assists in that league. He scores 25 and 25, 50 points, no slouch. But, he's one of those next level projections of, a third, fourth line player, most likely a fourth line player. He just brings physicality, grit, determination. I'm going to get that puck back for you. I'm going to try to play in the other team's zone as long as possible, get off the ice, stand up for my teammates whenever is needed. He is a fighter. Now, he's not just a fighter. He has skill as well. So Sharks fans, we're not just drafting players because they fight. This is a guy that will drop the gloves. He also is a longtime friend of Macklin Celebrini, where, if Celebrini gets hit hard, and they're both in the NHL, and when his line is called, he will go after the person that hit Macklin Celebrini. I guarantee it. And that's what you need. You need guys that will want to drop gloves, that are physical when the time is right. Not just to do it, but when the time is right. And this player brings that physical edge that the Sharks will need in years to come. And I look forward to, his style of play for the San Jose Sharks, because that's what we will need moving forward to win close hockey games and to win playoff hockey games. So great pick, Mike Greer, on bringing not only a friend of Macklin Celebrini, but a trusted and gritty player as well. It's not all about skill in the NHL. You need guys that will have skill and be physical at the point of attack, and that's what this player provides. All right, next we got that was our third round pick. Next we got Christian Kirsch, who is our fourth round pick at number 116. He's a goalie out of the Zug under 20 Switzerland League, Elite League. He is a 6'4" goalie, 192 pounds. I don't have a picture of his stats, but this guy was on the Sharks draft boards at one of the top goalies this year. I don't see it, but this is one of my head-scratching picks. Obviously, the Sharks need goalies in their pipeline. I think that this guy will be a project. I think, he had a pretty good year last year for his Switzerland team. He had like a 1.6 goals against average, but one of those guys that didn't play well in the under 20s, who gave up like 3.5 plus goals against, sometimes 6 goals against per game. So just a head scratching pick here, but he's one of those guys that will be a project, and I'm just interested to see his development. Next, another fourth round pick, we had Nate Miskey. Colton Roberts was our next pick at 131. He's a right-handed defenseman of the Vancouver Giants of the WHL. Roberts is interesting to me. This is a very, very development project again from Mike Greer. He's a 6'4", 205-pound defenseman. Obviously, I said he's of the WHL, so we went WHL heavy for defensemen. and he has a chance to play on a third line D pairing in the NHL. That's my kind of like ceiling. But he's a big guy. He needs to learn how to play physical, because he's just needs to get better in the defensive zone. He has some offensive ability, great shot, has vision, but played on a bad team. And as you can see here in his stats, he was projected as a third line player. We get him a little bit later in the draft, but he dropped for reasons of his minus 30, as you see on the screen. A lot of people take too much accountability in that minus 30. You never want to see it that high, though. I mean, minus 15, sure. The WHL is very offensively heavy, so minus 15 would have been, half that would have been good. But he played on a very poor team, and he made that team a lot better than how bad they were, though. So Colton Roberts, I would say, I kind of like the pick because of where we got him. But you don't like, that he was a minus 30 and that he didn't play physical enough in his own zone. So you're looking for this big of a player to be more physical. But I think this player has room to grow, and I'm excited for the pick, honestly, just because of where we got him. And we just need to see a little bit more development, and he's like a 4-year project from what I'm noticing. But he played with Vancouver last season, and he played on the special teams and did very well. He's athletic, he has size, he has quickness, he's not overly flashy, and he's a very good puck handler and passer. So that's what you're going to get with this kid. He can create with being strong skater, which is really good for a big tall guy. But like I said, his defense lacks, and he needs to break up more passes. He needs to be more physical in that defensive zone. So that's what you're going to get with Roberts. Next, we picked Nate Miskey. Nate Miskey was actually a really good pick in my eyes. He's a right-handed defenseman as well. He played with the Victoria Royals of the WHL, so more defenseman, 6'4", 6'3" plus from the WHL. He projects as a third line D pairing, just like Roberts. If all said and done is if all development goes well. But Miskey played a ton of minutes for Victoria this past season, and he progressed really, really well. He was picked in the third round of the WHL draft from the Bantam draft. He is a tall right shot defenseman who can move pucks with the best of them. And I don't think that he's a standout puck mover, but he does it to like above average capabilities. He sees the ice very well and can make tough plays. So he has a hard shot from the point, which generates a lot of offense with rebounds and shot making ability. His skating is heavy and probably is his main problem in the NHL. Like when he gets to the NHL. So like the defenseman that Mike Greer has gotten in the other parts of the draft. A lot of those other defensemen that he's drafted had very good skating. Well, this guy's the exact opposite. He's physical, but his skating is lacking a little bit. Lacking a lot. So that's something that he will need to work on as time goes and his development. So this is, probably a 4 to 5 year reclamation project. And hopefully he pans out, at the next level. And Lastly, in the 7th round, we drafted Yaroslav Korostelev, goalie, SKA St. Petersburg, Russia. He's a 6'2", 6'3", 187-pound goalie. And he is one of those goalies that is very quick on his feet. Like, he has very good skating. And apparently, from what he says in his post-draft press conference, is his best attribute. You're just hoping that this player can develop. Obviously, I think this would be a nabby pick. He's from Russia. Seems like he knows this player, and probably can help develop in, just because he, the Russian factor in terms of helping him develop and as a goalie coach, speak to him in Russian and be able to communicate very well on how he should be playing that position. I would assume that he would stay in Russia for a few more years and then come over, and then have Nabby help him after. But yeah, I thought this draft went really well. So that was our full draft board. I thought this was an A- draft from Mike Greer. The only draft notable that I thought could have been had was Aaron Kiviharu, in the middle rounds. We could have probably got him. As kind of like a project, but he was a first round grade in a lot of people's books, maybe early second round. But other than that, I thought Mike Greer did a very, very good job. I mean, he set us up for the future with all these selections, and I can't wait to see these guys at dev camp. I'm sure most of these guys will be there. Maybe a few Russian guys will not be, but I would assume that all these players will be at dev camp, including Macklin Celebrini. I know that he's going to be skating from, but just being a onlooker for the game on the July 4th. But he'll be skating from the 2nd to the 3rd, and I'm sure Sharks fans will be able to go to TechCU and check them out. But I wanted to also get into a couple things where the draft, how the draft fell. I thought it was super interesting. Obviously, Beckett Seneca at number 3 overall was a little bit of a surprise. I thought, Jet Lashenko, who Daniel Briere traded back one spot to get Jet Lashenko, was a head scratching move where Zeev Buium was right there for the taking. And he decided to trade it away. But, how the draft fell to even the San Jose Sharks was interesting to me. I never thought that both Sam Dickinson and Zeev Buium would be there for the Sharks to take. I definitely thought, it was a Carter Yakimchuk angle. But instead, we get the pick that, Mike Greer thought was the best. Even though I thought Zeev Buium would be the pick, Sam Dickinson is no slouch. And on my big board, they were number 6 and 7, best overall. And we got Sam Dickinson as my 7th best prospect at number 11. So, I mean, I couldn't believe that both of them were there, but happy that we did take Sam Dickinson. Next, we have Adam Juracek, who was 29 on my board. He goes 13. I'm sorry, he goes 16. It was 13 slots difference than what I had, so that was a little bit of a head scratcher. At number 17, Tarek Periskak, was a second round pick, in my opinion. He goes number 17. That was a head scratching move. Igor Sorin was, a second, probably an early second round pick, but he goes number 22. I got Matvey Gridin at number 28. I thought he was a late second round pick, in my opinion, and he goes, in that 28 slot. And then lastly, I bet that Ben Danford at number 31. I thought he was a middle to end of the second round kind of guy, and he goes at number 31 in the first round. So those were a couple, of the head scratching moves that I thought was just interesting to me. Obviously, the NHL draft, you're going to have risers, fallers, things of that nature. But those are just some of my takeaways, Sharks fans, that, were, a little bit out of the ordinary. The Jet Lashenko, I don't know if I said at number 13. He was my, late first round pick, and he goes number 18 or number 13. But anyways, I thought, Sharks fans, this was, another draft where Mike Grier adds to the pipeline. Now we have the likes of Will Smith, Macklin Celebrini, Casper Haltonen, Sam Dickinson, Luca Cagnoni, and many more in the pipeline. And Sharks fans, you will see these guys in the NHL very, very soon. And if not this year, in next year and the year following, you're going to see these guys, be up with the San Jose Sharks. And you're going to see the fruits to Mike Grier's labor, where, he's setting the tone correctly through the draft, and he's using the trades and waiver claims to upgrade this San Jose Sharks team in the near future. But with these most recent trades with Ty Dellandrea, Carl Gunstrom, Barclay Goodrow's claim, these players are going to be that grit that we're going to need, moving forward. And Sharks fans will start to be rewarded with some wins. And we have skill in the pipeline. We have grit, with these trades. I mean, we are looking good for the next couple of years, because I know that, with Dellandrea and Gunstrom, we will need to, submit RFA contracts to those players, but look for, probably a 2 to 3 year deal for both of those players, and see what they have, and, see if they're Sharks. And I believe that those players are physical enough to, help this young team. And we're not going to be pushovers anymore. And that's what Sharks fans need to hear from management. Their management is basically saying, hey, Sharks fans, we're going to be harder to play against. And I know it was Mike Grier's, outlook for, what he envisioned the San Jose Sharks to look like is a tough physical team and hard to play against. Well, he's already started doing it with these trades, and he's bringing in draft picks that have skill and are going to put up points. And then also drafting like Kirch, that physical toughness. And I'm super excited, Sharks fans. I think you guys should be too. But that's it for this 2024 draft recap. I would like you guys to, stay tuned for my next episode, which is going to be going over the San Jose Sharks pipeline. With this new 2024 draft crop, I'm going to be tying in this crop with the last 2 years, maybe 3. So you'll be able to see my thoughts on, who's coming up and who's going to be with the Sharks and whatnot. So I look forward to presenting that to you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please drop it in the comment section below. I really love the support. Please subscribe if you can, and you like my content. If not, totally understand. But I'm super excited for what's to come in the San Jose Sharks future, and so should you guys. So anyways, that's going to be it for me. Peace.